years, we've seen a swinging back and forth when it comes to how should our country deal with crime. From people thinking the laws are too tough. If we lighten up, people will do better. Then it swings the other way, that it's gotten out of control, crime, and the laws aren't tough enough. So let's talk about that. Jeffrey J. Clayton is one of the nation's top experts on bail and criminal justice reform. Let's bring him in, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me on, Dee.
Well, you may know that while crime in Columbus is still unusually higher, I don't know if you checked this out, it's higher than it's been ever. Certain crimes have slowed because we have aggressive police and an aggressive sheriff's department. I want to start here. What are your feelings about the bail bond process? Is it being kinder and gentler to say, I know you don't have money, so I'm not going to charge you a bail? What do you feel?
I think it's certainly nationally that has been the case, and that was the movement over the last 12 years. I've been, an expert on the issue. I think probably that's not been the case in Georgia. I think the state legislature is going the other way. Added 34 more crimes where you sort of don't get out of jail for free in Georgia. So I think the Georgia legislature is reacting. I think some of the other states have been slow to react. But as you said, I think the pendulum is swinging, and the question is it going to swing too far, perhaps, in these times of high crime?
You're a person that's in a position to kind of have an opinion. What do you think? Let's roll this video. The National Guard called out to New York City subways. We're going to take a look at that while you answer this. How do you think the nation is going to swing this time? Crime is escalating. We're hearing from the federal government it's not bad, but we're hearing from people that they're afraid. What is your opinion as to what's going to happen?
Well, I think there's main underreporting going on some of the low-level crimes. So I think that depresses the numbers. But the reality is that the public is calling for greater enforcement. And what I tell policymakers and what I tell people is let's focus on recidivist criminals, because that's where all the action is. 60 to 80% of violent crime in this country in urban areas is caused by 3 to 5% of defendants. That's a low amount of people that do it over and over and over again. And so that was the problem in the other movement, is we sort of said, well, they're poor. Well, yeah, that's true. But we need to take some of these people back that are the multiple time repeat offenders that we call recidivists in the criminal justice world, and focus policies on making sure that they don't get away with it.
And I will say this, I know a lot of people who have grown up poor that do not accept that poverty causes you to be a criminal, that it is culture, that it is a decision that you make. This is kind of asking for a personal opinion, but do you have when you see these things happening, do you think it's because they're poor?
It certainly can be. I mean, there's a variety of things that cause people, to lead to a life of crime. I'm certainly, lack of financial resources, but really, I think it's just lack of economic opportunity that is the biggest driver on a lot of these things. And zip codes is some of the research that's coming out of Oprah's camp. It talks about if you live in a bad area that has bad water, bad everything, that's going to lead to bad outcomes. So it's really hard to say. But, we try to focus on, the merits of things more so than we do the economics.
I'm going to kind of lighten it up a little bit. A country singer sang not too long ago, don't come to where we are, because if you do all this shoplifting and all this crime, we got something for you. When you see that kind of response, how do you feel?
Well, let's not get crazy here. We have a job to do. I think we haven't done a good job of that. And part of that's just not trusting our police. Our police need to go and enforce the law. And unfortunately, that's what deters crime. We can't incarcerate our way out of this, right? We have to tell the public that if you commit a crime, you're going to pay the punishment. And that's the number one thing that we need to do. So I do agree with that in part, but let's not overdo it and create even more mass incarceration. That's not going to solve the problem. Okay,
we have about 30 seconds. What will you leave the audience with?
Well, I think everybody in Georgia and everywhere needs to focus on repeat criminals. I think that is the name of the game. So just remember the word recidivist, you're against it. And you should tell all your legislators that. And yes, we are in favor of those that make a simple mistake and need to rehabilitate themselves. But, when you've done it 3, 4, 5, 7 times, it's time to focus, and it's time for the system to focus on that.
20 or 25 times we've seen those come through here. But thank you so much for being with us. Great insight.
Absolutely. Have a great day.